You know the date, you know the time. Our June Nintendo Direct is indeed confirmed. I've busted out the crystal ball because I have some predictions I want to make. What do you mean I didn't say the date and the time? I didn't film this in advance and then just upload it and have it ready for the second that the Direct was announced. That's silly. That's poppycock. Or maybe that's ingenious. Whichever way you go, the fact of the matter is we now know when this Direct is happening, and people are very excited for this presentation. Expectations are pretty high, maybe a little bit too high. We've had some summer presentations happen already. Most of them mediocre to kind of crappy. I did think Xbox was really good, but when it comes to the big three manufacturers, Sony kind of crapped the bed, I felt. Xbox did a really good presentation, so where's Nintendo gonna fall in line? I would have to imagine a little bit behind Xbox, but probably in front of PlayStation because, God almighty, 2024 is looking dry beyond Astrobot fans. But in this video, I want to basically give you guys some of my thoughts on what I expect to see at this presentation based on things that I've heard or maybe just my hopes and dreams. So if this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you'll want to see my Nintendo Direct reaction video after the Direct presentation happens. So let's get some of the easy stuff out of the way as far as what I expect to be here. Dragon Quest, I think, is a lock. The Dragon Quest 3 HD, 2D HD, terrible name. Hopefully they have redone the name. There's been lots of rumors circulating around this game that it went from just Dragon Quest 3 to now Dragon Quest 1 through 3 that's a part of this project. I'm not sure if that's indeed the case. It has been a few years since we have seen this game, but I think this is a perfect game to be at this sort of presentation. Square Enix likes Nintendo. Nintendo likes Square Enix. Although during the 64-bit era, that was not indeed the case. But Dragon Quest, which is really Dragon Warrior, has indeed come a long way as a franchise, and I think this is a good game. You know, from what we've seen so far, it definitely looks like a really good game, and I think that, you know, if they're doing Dragon Quest 1 through 3, that makes the value even more immense. So you're getting more story, more gameplay, and this is a game that fits right at home with the Nintendo Switch. It doesn't have, you know, a super high graphically taxing engine or anything like that. You know, probably it could still run a little bit choppy, but hopefully not. Square Enix has done very good jobs with their Nintendo Switch versions of the games, so I fully expect to see this there. Another thing I think we need to keep in mind is when it comes to announcements, I feel like you are going to see some retro inspired stuff just because of the fact that Limited Run Games is doing a presentation on the 20th. Now, say what you want about Limited Run Games, I've probably said much, much worse, but they usually have some really cool stuff, some deep cuts, some, you know, gems. We saw Jurassic Park Collection. We saw Rocket Knight Adventures just come out. Make sure you check out my video talking about that game. And I feel like some of the things that are shown during this presentation could end up be getting physical releases through Limited Run Games, or maybe they're in partnership with Limited Run Games. So that is something to keep in mind with this. Obviously, things like the Carbon Engine, stupid British MVG. But yeah, you know, that's definitely something that a lot of people should keep in mind. Now, when it comes to the Nintendo side of things, that's where things get a little bit murky because of the fact that we obviously have the Nintendo Switch 2 on the horizon. So how many third-party companies are really going to be putting their best foot forward on the Switch? How many first-party companies, such as Nintendo, are going to be putting their front foot forward to take time and effort to put games on the Switch when we have this new system looming on the horizon? I think a Mario sports game, I mean, it's probably going to be there. Like, let's just be realistic here. It's been a little while since Strikers came out and stunk up the joint. Mario Golf wasn't really that great either. Like, I just don't have faith in these Mario sports games anymore. They just don't seem very well done. It seems like a drip feed of content, and I don't think people are appreciating that because of the fact that the games just aren't really all that sort of fun. Like, I guess Strikers was kind of fun, but the fact that you couldn't do 4-on-4 soccer just ruined the entire game to me. I would have to guess maybe a baseball game. Mario's done baseball before. Nintendo seems to not care about basketball, even though Mario Hoops 3-on-3 was like one of the best DS games. But alas, we don't care about basketball. So I would assume maybe a Mario baseball game. Speaking of Mario, I think there could be another Mario game, but it's probably not what you were expecting. I could see some sort of half-assed Mario Party. Like, not like a big new Mario Party, but like a bunch of Mario Party mini games, like a Mario Party a la carte. I don't think it's going to be a full-on brand new Mario Party, but Mario Party games are selling very well on the Switch, which behooves me because the first one that came out really wasn't all that great, and it didn't have online until they added online many years later. But I think there's going to be a Mario Party sort of compilation. Remember they had that one for the 3DS that was kind of popular towards the tail end of the 3DS's life cycle, where it was just like a compilation of a bunch of Mario Party minigames. I could see something like that being at this event because it, low risk, high reward sort of situation. Obviously, one of the big games on the whiteboard for what to expect here is Metroid Prime 4. Now, I don't have any inside information on Metroid Prime 4. I've been following it just like everyone else has been following it, but I'm confident in saying that if Metroid Prime 4 is not at this direct, then maybe we need to go back to the drawing board again with it, because obviously there is a problem with figuring out how to make this game very quality, and maybe trying to figure out, how big of a budget you want to put in to a Metroid game, because a Metroid game is going to sell around 3 million copies, give or take. That kind of seems to be the ceiling for Metroid games right now. And if you do a big budget Metroid Prime 4, I think fans would love it. I would love it. I would play the hell out of it, especially if there's some online multiplayer component, which I hope there is. I mean, we shouldn't be taking step back from Metroid Prime Hunters, which had an excellent online infrastructure for the DS that had voice chat in it, for Christ's sakes, without needing to use my cell phone application. I used my Nintendo DS. But I feel like if Metroid Prime 4 is not here, and it's still coming to the Switch, it's not going to be like a Switch 2 game, there's a problem. There's a problem with this game, and it needs to be addressed. And in a very similar vein, I feel like if The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker for the Nintendo Switch, the HD versions of these games, are also not at this Nintendo Direct, we need to move on. We need to assume that this is, for whatever reason, is just not going to happen on the current platform, because once again, this is something that's very low risk, high reward. Nintendo themselves say they want Zelda every year. Zelda has pretty much overtaken Mario, at least in some regards. I mean, if you look, besides Mario Kart, which is a kart racer, but like Zelda outsold Super Mario Odyssey. So Zelda is at its all-time peak right now. So you would think that they would want to do something like this, a dual pack, individual games, maybe adding in additional content. Like, who's really to say? I would rather them just do an HD dual pack, rip the Wii U versions, take out the Wii U features, put them in a dual pack, budget price $60, $70 or something like that. I think everyone would be fine with that, but this is Nintendo, so maybe they'll be $50 a piece, maybe 60. Who the hell knows what they're going to price these at? But once again, if these are not at this presentation, then it's just time to stop talking about them. Move on from these games. And really, I say all that to say, I think the coolest thing about this Direct for me personally is the mystery. I'm keeping my expectations in check. I'm not expecting a great Direct presentation. Satisfying? Solid? Sure. But we're in a transitional phase with the Nintendo Switch. When you look at the software that we've gotten this year, it's clear. It's clear as day. These are not big budget titles. These are not supposed to, reinvent the wheel or anything like that. These are supplementary titles. Things to keep Nintendo Switch owners happy until the next system comes out. And I don't necessarily think that that is a bad thing. I think that intrigue actually makes me somewhat interested for this Direct. Maybe a little bit more so than other times. Could Danky Kang be there? Because God damn, they've been saying a Donkey Kong game is gonna come for a very long time, and he's just chilling, taking a nap with his big monkey self, probably scratching his ass and then sniffing his finger, because I've seen monkeys do that before. Star Fox Assault HD. I mean, there's been some rumors about that too, but I really, for me, the mystery, the intrigue, the unknown is what makes this Direct exciting for me. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm always looking forward to hearing about new video games. I'm always looking forward to new announcements and stuff like that. And hopefully this will be good. I think one more area that I do want to talk about that definitely needs to be addressed is Nintendo Switch Online, because you've done all your N64 games. You haven't done Genesis games in a while. Like, what are we doing with this service? How are we going to increase value with this service and increase people wanting to sign up when we've kind of hit a brick wall with this? And realistically speaking, like, you're getting into some deep cuts, but there are some major omissions still happening with this. Could we see a new system added to Nintendo Switch Online? I do hope there is some Nintendo Switch Online love there. Like, I don't love it. I don't love it, but I do like retro games, and you know they're trying with stuff like that. So who knows? You can always improve. You can always be better. I want to hear what you think is going to be at this direct in the comments section down below. Though, like I said at the start of this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get my Nintendo Direct reaction. This is your first time here. I'm not one of those reactors who screams and cries and all that sort of weirdo stuff just for freaking clout. Like that's some weirdo. Like you do not do that in real life. You do not do that in real life. I'm gonna call a spade here. It's an overreaction for the internet because you're putting on a show. But hey, if you own it, you own it. And as always, guys, thank you for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.